Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. And today we're going to talk about something that is really simple that you can do right now that will dramatically change the level of your happiness that you are currently experiencing. This one simple life hack will elevate your happiness in a snap. Okay guys, don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe to my page because we love you and we want you here. And I really love having people to talk to. What can I say? I'm an extrovert, so this whole coronavirus, social isolating thing is kind of a rough thing for me. So make sure that you pound the subscribe button and the like button. I am not a licensed therapist. If that's what you're looking for, au revoir. I love you, but what I have to say is probably not going to float your boat. But what I am is a girl who's lived through her oldest son's tragic death, who has recovered her fullest life of love and joy. This one little hack is going to change everything, and it's actually a lot cheaper than therapy. Hang tight with me through this analogy because it's really powerful. What happens to a star when it collapses in on itself? It becomes a black hole. And oftentimes when we go through trials, tragedies, traumas, adversity, it's like we were a big shining star and then all of a sudden we collapse in, and the light that we used to emit onto others now we become self-absorbed, and that light we hoard for ourselves and we start to focus inward. And the energetic response to that is that we become basically an emotional vacuum. Let's look at the sun. The entire purpose of the sun is to serve the inhabitants of this earth. The sun doesn't receive anything. The entire purpose of it is to give light, to give direction, to give nourishment, to give warmth. It lives to give. The best way that we can elevate our happiness is to take the energy that is focused inward, that is literally becoming an emotional vacuum, and take one of those rays of sunlight that used to shine out on others that has been turned inward, and take that light and start to shine that light outward. The way you do this is through, you guessed it, a simple act of service. One random act of kindness. Random acts of kindness do massive amounts for your level of happiness. As we shine our light onto others and see their light illuminate, that light then in turn also levels up our light and our love and our joy. It becomes a cycle where as we give and we see their light, it feeds us. And then the more light we have, the more we can give. And it feeds itself when we start to serve. And so we then take our light that has been focused inward and we start to spread the light out. So stick with me through this story because it was a really powerful way that I learned this. I was laying in my bed. I was, you guys, sleeping 20 hours a day. Oftentimes I would be in bed up to 22 hours a day. It was really, really unhealthy, like ultra, mega, super duper sad and unhealthy. And it was the only way that I knew how to cope. And I was told by God, just through an impression, that I needed to serve. And so I started doing these random acts of kindness. When I could tell that I was spiraling down the hell of self-pity and self-loathing, I would immediately ask myself, what can I do to serve someone right now? And in fact, I remember this one time where I was laying in my bed and I was spiraling out of control and my depression was coming and I was freaking out and I was like, don't go. I was so scared about my depression all the time. I was so scared that it was gonna take hold of me and it was gonna take me down the road of endless sorrow and woe. And I just asked myself, what can I do to serve somebody right now? So I stomp out there. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I look out my window and there is my neighbor, and their weeds are waist high, honest to goodness, way super high. And I just get this feeling, you know what? I'm gonna go mow their lawn. So I walk out of my house and grab my lawnmower and I go and I start plowing down my neighbor's lawn. I've never even met them. And as I'm plowing down their lawn, they walk out. They don't speak English and I don't speak Spanish. And I just say to them, just let me. I need to mow your lawn. Please just let me mow your lawn. And they just stood there like, this girl's crazy. And I probably looked crazy because I was in my pajamas, my hair was a crazy mess, and I was just on a mission to mow their lawn. They did not need me to mow their lawn. I needed to mow their lawn. But as I came home and for the rest of the day, I didn't go down that self-loathing hole because it elevated my joy. It elevated my happiness. And all I could think of all day was, oh my gosh, those people think I am legitimately crazy. And I maybe am. But it made me smile when I thought about what had happened. One time I was again going down the depression hole, and this was years later. This was actually just a couple of years ago. And I paid for a guy's meal that was right behind me. And I went down, I didn't think much about it, and I sat down right next to the fountain drinks. And I was eating my food, and another guy came up to two guys that I didn't even recognize. I didn't pay for their meals. And one of these guys looks at me and goes, dude, did you pay for my meal? And the guy was like, yeah, like, don't even think about it. Somebody else got my meal. And he was like, wow, thank you. I really needed that. Like, we've been really struggling. Thank you so much. And I just sat there with a smile because neither of them knew that that was a wave that was created because of the choice that I made to pay for somebody's meal. And it was like so far removed from me that it was so amazing to see the ripple effect of how far your service goes. I'm not telling you these stories to brag. Like, I don't need to brag about this. I am honestly just demonstrating how far reaching a small act of kindness goes. With the coronavirus and with the social distancing and all of the crazy chaos that's going on out there, we went to go get some food tonight from Cafe Rio, and people were ornery, people were mean, and these workers were working their butts off for us. And I was just thinking, I've been kind of going down that depressed hole during all of this, and I've been trying to pull myself out of it. And it's been hard, honestly, because we've had the coronavirus, and then right after the coronavirus, I live in Utah, and I was just a few miles away from the center of a 5.7 earthquake, and I've been rattled. And a lot of the depression, not depression, but the temptings of the depression have been setting in. And so tonight, I was going to get a crumble cookie with my husband, and I said, you know what, let's get some cookies for all of those hard workers at Cafe Rio and drop them off. And honestly, as I dropped them off, my joy just shot up because the power of service is so liberating and it immediately intensifies your level of joy. So if you are looking for a way to level up your happiness and your joy, find a way that you can serve someone in a very simple way. It cost me $10 to buy those cookies. It wasn't expensive. It was a lot cheaper than a therapy session would cost. And oh, so much more fun and so much more rewarding. Okay, so a couple of ideas that you can do that are cheap, affordable, fast. You don't even have to think about it. One of my favorite things, buy a Snickers bar at the grocery store and hand it to the cashier and say, give this to the next person in line. Go through McDonald's drive-thru and buy an ice cream cone and say, give it to the person behind me. Go through a drive-thru and pay for the person's meal behind you. It will cost you $5 to $8. Like, it's so cheap to do a random act of kindness, and you drive away or you walk away and you just think, oh my gosh, they're never gonna know. And the best feeling is the thought that maybe your example will escalate a larger level of service and love and connection in the world. Head over to my website, freedomfix.com, grab your audio training on how to unlock your internal freedom. Also, we will have available there random acts of kindness cards to download. They say, you have been a victim of a random act of kindness, pass it on. And I just encourage you, it's so fun that the moment that you feel like you might be spiraling or that you need a level up in your happiness and joy, find someone to serve. Go out and give something to someone and you will find an immediate level up. Okay, don't forget, subscribe and like. We love ya. And until next time, we can do this.